Graham
I
cracked.
wish I could give you all G Fuel.
Wouldn't that be
There's
cool? Just G
there's so
Fuel
many
for
people.
everyone.
Hitch, what are you looking at? Is this? Oh,
What's Hitch doing? I
uh,
can't see him.
Hitch, you can't start the show without glasses on, where we can't
I
see your
know,
face.
I know. It was
And you
last
can't
second.
end the show without
And
your
hiding in the hoodie.
Yeah.
dancing craziness that you do.
I saw like 3 different pictures of Hitch crashed out on the floor.
Yeah, dude.
And Maven passed out on the floor.
That's events for you, man.
How old is Maven actually?
28.
80, 28.
Oh, so he is older than everybody else. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause Benson's a little kid, right? He's like 12 or 13.
Yeah, 16.
Mm-hmm. 16 and a half. Yeah, his birthday
Okay.
was last October.
Shout out to Benson for saying waffle multiple times.
Yeah, yeah.
He did say
Sure.
snitch once too. I was
Yeah,
excited about
he
that.
said waffle, and it was funny because a reverse shout out to UMG Matt for he said quaffle in their championship Sunday match, and he said, and right as they were going to play, and it was Optic versus FaZe, and they were going to play Uplink, and he said, "I'm going to say it right now, quaffle." And Matt just looked at him like, "Yeah, the satellite drone is what you're talking about." I'm like,
I think he corrected Maven and Benson like 4 or 5 times.
I was like, "Come on."
Yeah, well, he told us he wasn't going to say it.
Gosh.
Well, because he says it reminds me of Queef or something. Like,
When
really?
Vincent and Maven cast it together, I heard more quaffles and references. Oh, to those of you guys who are wondering, I'm surprised nobody's asked yet. Where is Sharp? Where is he? Sharp isn't available yet. I don't know if he's still landing. He hasn't tweeted, so he might be still on a plane or something. I have no idea. He just has not responded to my DMs yet.
plane
So
actually got hijacked.
well, that would suck. By I almost said Neslo, but I won't say that. So trying to get his spot back on TK. So we will get him on the show. We'll get him on the show when he's available. Neslo wanted to come on last week. Maybe he'll tweet again, like, "I'll come on."
What's up, Billy?
Sorry. Who's Billy? Oh, Billy ZDN, or however you say his name on Twitter. I just murdered it, didn't I?
Billy the Tiger.
Billy the Tiger. Hey, Billy the Tiger. All right, so we got a lot to go over. This was an amazing event. It was utterly ridiculous. But before we get into it, we're going to introduce ourselves. And I know you know who Fatty and Hitch are, but they're going to say, we're going to twist things up. Sharp's going to be upset that he's not here. So if you could pick a player from the top 4 teams, that's Prophecy, TK, FaZe, and Optic, from MLG Columbus, if you could pick one player from each team to make a team of 4, who would they be? Make sure you say your name and your affiliations. We'll start with Fatty and then go to Hitch.
So if I'm building a team, I'm using this player.
Yeah.
Yes. Pick one player from each of the top 4 at Columbus.
Oh man. Each of the top 4.
Yeah.
And building one team.
Yeah. So
I'm slow, but I'm getting it.
Picking one from Prophecy.
Okay, so one from FaZe, I'm picking STiKS.
Okay.
One from ON. Or
What?
not ON, OG.
Yeah.
Optic Gaming. Oh. I'm picking Scump. I mean, he had a bunch of really good games. If not him, it'd be Krim. Who else is there? Prof?
Yeah, Prophecy.
You know, I want to say Fears.
Okay.
And then TK?
Yep.
Has to be my boy Sharp, just because I haven't seen him slay this much in any game. I thought he was amazing.
Sharp's really good at this game.
Somebody
who are
in the
you?
chat, whoever said that was your question, that was your question. We were going to ask it later, but we're not going to ask it anymore, so thanks. And who are you? What's your name? And
did Dog just subscribe?
Who did? What?
Dog, homie Dog.
Thanks, dog, for subscribing. I can't see the chat for the Skype call, so I must have missed that. But, it's not even in there. All right, so, Dog, that's the real name? Just D-O-G?
Yeah.
How did you get that, man?
OG.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Tom's is Tom. Billy's is Billy. Dog's is Dog. Like, there's
Dog.
Avalanche. Oh, no, Avalanche is Twitch. What's up, guys? My name is Hitch. I do a lot of things on YouTube. If I had to pick an ultimate squad from the top 4, it would be Um, it would be Slasher, Crim, Fears, and Sharp.
You said
Slasher, Crim, Fears, and Sharp.
Slasher was my MVP, by the way. If that was going to be asked, I thought he played phenomenally.
Yeah.
we will ask that.
I just
Oh,
picked Eggs
Avalanche
because I
does
think
have
he's
that.
more stable, like as far as yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so my name is Kingdom Soldier. I do some stuff on Twitch. I do some stuff on YouTube, and I tweet sometimes late in the evenings about my favorite flowers and their smells. And
Why? Like,
Fatty's reaction.
Water everywhere. By the way.
That's FaZe Clear. That's the new
I like
new
tulips.
flavor. Why does it say Kingdom Soldier just subscribed? Or
you subscribe yourself?
Gamer in Combat just subscribed? Is that what he's saying? I'm confused. All right, so
He's trying to troll
he's
you.
trying to trick us. All right, so I'm picking Crim. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna pick Crim, Parasite. I just want to see a team go bananas. Aches. Oh, this is just great. Crim and Aches on the same team again with Parasite. This is just who else should I put on here? And let's just throw Sharp into the mix. That's so many alphas on the same team. That would be bananas. All right, so those are our choices. This was a ridiculous weekend. Shout out to Goalie TV, who always runs the STiKS, best producer in the world, better than anybody that you've seen on MLG.TV. I promise, he's the best. And Codpedia, great coverage this weekend. I was ridiculous. I was literally just watching their site. Refreshing. They seem to be on top of everything. I was utterly impressed with their coverage, and congrats to them for the growth that took place. And of course, shout out to G Fuel, who sponsors all three of us. But these guys, their codes, something's wrong with them. So you can just use mine. It's Kingdom. 10% off your next purchase of
He
G
means
Fuel.
Fatty.
So you can get your FaZeberry or your green apple, or whatever your favorite flavor is, or you can get the new FaZe Clear flavor that Fatty's drinking. It's called
Water.
G Fuel.
Phase or not phase.
Phase.
Gamma H2O.
Yeah, there you go. Gamma H2O. All right, so Hitch,
Hi.
you have been at a whole bunch of events. And I always ask this question when you get back from an event, but how did this one compare overall, as far as I know that they changed some things about the player area and the VIP area and all that kind of stuff. And but I heard there was no lounge for media, but you can tell me about that. But what was your overall take on the venue?
Well, first of all, Green Walla Walla Bong subscribed. So thank you guys.
Hey, sub hype.
Much love from the STiKS fam. So yeah, let's talk about Columbus. So as far as if you're a pro player and you're walking to Columbus, it was actually kind of sick. The whole VIP lounge was like a balcony area, and you look down on all of the open bracket and the main stage and everything. It was pretty sick. There was a lot of rooms. It wasn't like a UMG where the pro lounge is kind of small. It was like literally like a whole floor just for VIP and pro players. So that was kind of sick.
Nice.
As far as media people, it's the worst event I've ever been to. It was the smallest in the open bracket. It was the smallest event ever. Smaller than Philly. Smaller than
What was smaller? The actual number of stations?
Smaller than Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, no, like as far as like how tight everything was. Like I could like if in order for me to shoot video or pictures, you'd have to be on the outside stations so that I could get to you because it was insanely tiny. And then also it was dark. It was like shooting in a nightclub. It was I mean, MLG events are always dark, but this one was like especially dark for some reason. Like I'd have like all of my
Phones are
pictures
everywhere.
Yeah, all of my pictures are like really grainy because you'd have to like, brighten it up a whole bunch. So, I mean, but the main stage was beautiful. I really like how MLG is doing the new main stage. The two boxes and then the casters are like raised up. It looks really nice. The production was really nice as well. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It wasn't horrible, but I definitely would like it to be a little bit brighter.
Okay. Well, how do you think the pros received it? I mean, it sounds like it was good for them.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I'm sure the pros liked it because the pros have like a ton of room. But even like the open bracket players, like once they got done with the open bracket, then they just kind of chilled, I guess. They kind of went to sit in the stands. They didn't have a the amount of people that really liked the pro area was not, I don't know what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say?
They weren't pros.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They
it's like there's only a small amount of pros that were able to, I'm tired.
The one complaint I did hear from pros, and that was actually from Theory.
Uh-huh.
The complaint I heard from Theory is there wasn't enough warm up stations for the pros.
Yeah, he didn't make it sound too bad. He said that there could have been a few more.
Yeah, and then Adam was like, "Well, we didn't have enough power," so it sounded like Xbox were dying right and left too. I don't know if that was true or not. But...
Well, he made it like Adam's explanation made it sound like this was kind of a little testing event, like because they called it an open and they said that over and over and over and over again that it was this open event. And Hitch, maybe you can explain what the heck the difference between that is and a regular event. But he said that it was different than a like a Pro Series event where anybody can come and play, like they restricted it more or something. I don't know what the difference was, but what was the difference, Hitch? Like, do you know why they called it open and they kept saying that MLG 25K open? Like, because I know there was a reason for it, and Adam said it was a test. He said it wasn't like a full MLG Pro event. It was like an open event, which I don't get the difference. I don't. Maybe somebody can put it in the chat.
I don't either. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like anyone can play in it, and then those people.
Heckleberry got a spot.
Yeah, Team Heckleberry.
If you haven't seen Hitch's interview of Team Heckleberry, go to the Gamma Gamers TV channel on YouTube. It was pretty funny. The second guy was like, he must have been the youngest. That was pretty hilarious. So were they like famous when they were walking around? Like...
Oh, what? Yeah, and it was funny because they kind of got. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. They kind of let it get to their heads a little bit, and their moms were like trying to keep them humble. They're like, everybody keeps coming up to us and asking for autographs. They're like, this one guy even said, "Can we be your water boy?" And we're like, we don't need water to play video games. Like they were just like, you could just tell they're like, they're just literally like children, like the tiniest of the tiny. And I was like talking to their mom. And basically, the reason they went is like two
married Hitch.
What?
So she probably is married.
All right. Well, so there's two. You're ridiculous, man.
Go ahead.
So there is two brothers basically, and one of them plays like soccer a lot, and so they're always traveling and they always have to drag the other one along, and he just ended up hating it, and he hates going to soccer tournaments and things like that. So she looked up on the internet what if there was anything gaming wise, and he doesn't even play Call of Duty. He plays like Minecraft and like Black Ops 2 and things like that. And she found out that there was like tournaments, and so she made them all shirts, and her like him and his brother go like she just flew them out to an event. Or no, they don't live that far away, so they all drove, like all four of them drove, and so they just played at the event just because she felt bad that it was like his weekend instead of always having to do what his brother wants.
So they just get stomped.
So hard. Oh, what?
I'm just wondering, like, was it even close or
no? The little kid was running around with dual akimbo Or LMGs. Silence LMGs.
Well, when you're asking him, like in your interview, when you're asking him about Call of Duty and how he got into it, and he says that he's like, I want to get my MP7 gold in Black Ops 2. I was like, what?
Dude, I gotta say that has to be the coolest mom in the world to waste 250
Yes.
bucks
That's what
on a
I'm
team
saying.
pass.
Yes.
That's why
That
I said
Holy
that.
cow!
And she made shirts. I mean, that is
She made shirts.
that's legit.
And they got a Twitter.
They have to go to the next event. They followed me. I actually felt like a fanboy for a second, but they have to go to the next event. Like, they have to go to the next event.
Dude, I was just thinking, like, if I would have got involved in like professional
Heckleberry.
gaming at that age, for one thing, I'd be like a great Mario player or Contra or whatever the heck was around when I was that age. But I'd be Nate Shot now. Honestly, I'd be Fat
Yeah.
Shot or Fat Nade.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm trying to stay focused. We're supposed to be talking about MLG Columbus. All right, so Fatty, what was your overall experience as a viewer of the event? Like, how did you think it went for what you were able to watch?
You know, I'm really impressed with the broadcast mode. I really love it. As far as when they get into it, I thought it was kind of funny. Seemed like every time Optic was on, they had a hard time getting into broadcast mode for some reason. But yeah, I thought it was great. As far as a viewing experience, what I got to watch was amazing. All the game, there was so many game fives. Uplink, whoever says they don't like Uplink doesn't like good games because I thought the Uplink games were amazing. There was a couple CTF games that were great. That almost all the hardpoint games were close in my mind, except for that one first phase optic one. I don't know what happened there, but um, other than that, like I had this was the most fun I've had watching a tournament since
Ever.
X Games. You know, I really enjoyed X Games for some reason, but this was the most fun I've had since Black Ops 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the event was amazing. As a viewer, this is the first event that I've watched as much as I watched. Like, I've never get to watch this much. Like, luckily, I didn't have a lot of meetings on Saturday. But even when I did, like, in between meetings, I was, like, pulling out my phone, going to my MLG.TV app, looking at Alpha and Bravo, and peeping Twitter. And it was like, I mean, this event was just entertaining from beginning to end. Even the hold times and stuff, like, they didn't seem that bad. There was a little confusion. I think they have to make it more obvious sometimes that they're showing classics or whatever. It says it on the screen, but I had somebody actually tweet at me like, what happened in that game, Optic versus Denial? I thought Denial was out of it, and I was like, yeah, they were showing something from like yesterday. And so
I gotta say that confused me a couple times too, because half the time I wasn't watching because
you just had it playing.
yeah, I had it playing in the background, and I'm like, wait, who's on Denial? I don't know. It was just kind of confusing.
Yeah, you're like, wait, oh, Optic won. Wait, when was this?
Yeah.
Wait,
Dude,
I didn't even know Optic and Denial were going to play each other. Yeah, it was kind of confusing. It confused me for 2 seconds, and then I saw MLG Classics on there. Because when they show it and they have the same casters that did it online, you're thinking this is like live at the event. But I think that the only thing that was a huge fail, well, I wouldn't even call it a huge fail because it'll get fixed real fast. But the non-hardpoint timer on the COD Vision, I think it's called in this game, that was painful. Like, if you jumped into a game and it was already started, you had no idea. And you'd hear Maven be like, Optic is trying to break in. And I'd be like, why are they doing that? There's only like 7 seconds left. And then FaZe would have the hard point for like 20 seconds. Like, oh, well, that makes sense that they were breaking that hard point. And so it kind of not having that timer, people were tweeting at me all weekend, like, hey, where is the, I'm like, do you think I have super eyeballs? like, oh, if you look bottom right and you use your 3D glasses from when you saw that movie last month, it'll show up. You know, it's just Technicolor. It's a secret for casters and commentators only. No, but it was like that was missing. I don't really think anything else was missing. I love how MLG introduces players when they're first on stream, when they show the camera and then they have their role. I don't know who makes these roles up. That is kind of questionable, because I've seen SMG Slayer, AR Slayer, AR SMG. It it was kind of OBJ, SMG OBJ, AR OBJ. It was like I don't know where they actually get those from, like who makes them up and how they decide who's what, because it would be nice if to accompany them there was actual descriptions of those roles and what they are. But I love those player cards; those are pretty dope. Should we get Neslo on? He is home. All right. How do you know he's home? He tweeted?
I tweeted him.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, you're typing that. I thought that was goalie. All right, so we're getting close to 700 tweet out stream, guys, so we can get over 1,000. So the event was pool play and bracket play. I do wish Sharp was on for this part of the because I know that pool play kind of was not his favorite part of MLG Columbus.
Oh yeah, he was heated.
Two of the pools, Group D and Group A, ended up with a. Let me put this actually in the chat. For those of you that don't use Codpedia, you got to grow up. So this is, but that's where I'm looking right now. So, Group A and Group D were both, they ended in three-way ties. And the way three-way ties work, which this was a mess, none of us could figure out who was where. It was like everybody's tweeting, asking me questions. I was tweeting Ron, and he's like, well, I'm only working the Bravo stream. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't figure this out. Because the way it ended up is that Prophecy, Optic, and TK all were 3-1. And then I think it was Envy, Aware, and SB were all 3-1. But the role, they switched based on how their map count was with each other only. Not how their map count was, because technically TK had a better overall map count with everyone else than Optic did. They only lost 5, and so, but Optic lost 6. So technically TK should have been in second if they did overall. But when they do head to head, they only count the map count between those 3 teams, and TK was 3 and 5 when it came down to them playing against Prophecy, Optic, and Prophecy and Optic. They were 3 and 5, and so. It was just, it was really tough, and it really sucked actually for TK and Aware. However, at the end of the day, both of those teams made it into Season 1. So, and another crazy statistic, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but every player from Noble that got dropped made it into Season 1. They all are on different teams, but they made it into the season.
All did better than Noble.
They all did, they all did better than Noble Impact, which, they went 1 and 3 in pool play. Was there any surprises you guys had from pool play?
Carnage not winning a damn thing. I felt bad.
That's
I felt really bad because I honestly thought they'd go in there and do well. And one other bad thing is I didn't catch a single Carnage game. I felt bad about that.
During Optic, I mean, it was
They didn't stream any of them? Oh, that's even sadder.
There was one of theirs on Bravo because I watched some of it versus like, I don't remember who it was, Aware or SB, or I think it might have been SB. But they got smacked. I mean, they only won. They picked up 3 maps. They played better in the losers bracket. They actually, who was it that they beat? It was kind of embarrassing. It was Rise that they actually.
Oh yeah,
they beat Rise out of the tournament. Mad. Luckily, Rise already had a league spot. Rise Bomber went on Twitter and was like, "I'm so mad right now." He was not very happy. So I will tell any of you that are interested in team ownership or have thought about that in your before, hit me up on Twitter because this was I'll just say that this was a really rough finish for Carnage. And he's not selling the team or anything like that. But when you invest a lot into potentially getting into the league and then you finish way off of that, you don't get the number of Twitter followers you were hoping for. Huke might have grown personally pretty well, but the team, just the way they played in pool play, really had a negative impact on. Dude, I hear Skype going crazy. And
sorry, I'm typing the goalie.
Okay. All right, so I thought pool play for me was pretty good. I mean, Carnage and Rise were the only teams that kind of saddened me, and then I was really impressed with Justice. I mean, they only dropped 2 maps. They 4-0'd their pool, and Denial 4-0'd their pool. Both of those teams did really good. They did not have the same success when it came to the championship bracket. So, Hitch, what was the hype like during the quarterfinals?
Oh, quarterfinals?
Yeah, slow down,
Dude. Oh
And
my.
when all of those games went to Game 5, every single one. Prophecy Optic Nation Game 5, FaZe Strictly Business Game 5, Denial Envious Game 5, and Optic Gaming Justice went to Game 5. Every single quarterfinals in the winners bracket went to Game 5. Do you remember what the hype was like around those games specifically? And when Prophecy took out Optic Nation, I mean, what was that like when Parasite was taking out Imbos and those guys?
Um,
You
I'm
remember?
trying to remember. You have no idea how many games I saw this weekend. Um,
Sure, you saw a lot.
2 or 3, right?
yeah, 2 or 3.
Well, do you
Which
remember the
one?
Optic Gaming Justice match?
The Optic Gaming Justice match. That was on main stage
Yeah, it would have been in the quarterfinals.
quarters.
You don't remember?
Yeah,
Maybe it wasn't that memorable.
I do remember that actually. I don't know. I'm tired.
So one of the points I wanted to make while Hitch is trying to pluck himself and find his memory.
Gather his thoughts.
One of the points I wanted to make is that the quarterfinals, every single match with these top teams was Game 5s all the way through. But then for the rest of the tournament, out of the next 16 games that were left for the entire tournament, there was only 5 matches that went to Game 5. And I thought that was interesting. And I don't know what happened on Championship Sunday if these teams just decided to turn up a little bit. And Prophecy 3-0'd FaZe, and then Optic 3-0's Envious right out of the gate. I mean, and things just changed. Icons got 3-0'd by Aware. Carnage got 3-0'd that was a predictable one by TK. Automatic Reload 3-0'd Impact. I don't think any of us expected them to get 3-0'd out of the tournament by Automatic Reload. And then DT Esports, who had previously eliminated Fear from this tournament with a 3-1. They 3-2'd Stunner. And so I don't know what happened that made things change, because then you had Optic Gaming go up against Prophecy in the winners finals and 3-0 them. So what was the hype like around those matches, like the Envious Optic match? Do you remember what that was like? Like, what was
The
that
Envious
like?
Optic match.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was a lot of hype. Like before that match, there was more hype than I've ever felt at any event ever. Besides possibly Anaheim when EG played Optic, but just because there were so many loud Envious fans there. Like they
Really?
had the big Clayster. Did you see the big
That
Clayster
was his
signs?
family, right? They had the big like
I believe so. I'm not
LeBron
sure.
James signs and all
Yeah,
that.
the huge Clayster signs, and then also there was like a group of people that had signs that were dissing Optic. One of them said it was, instead of Nate Shot knows, it said Nate Shot blows, and then another one said something about Envious being better than Optic or something like that. So
Oh, you
the,
put those on that girl that got a Twitter because she was
yeah, she got a Twitter just so she could get roasted. So it was crazy. It was crazy to see. It was crazy to see like actual like people going head to head. Like people, every event I've gone to, more and more people are like challenging the green wall at events, like in their face. So it's kind of crazy. And I've never seen that much hype before. And then of course when they won and Nate Shot threw up the 3-0, everyone went nuts. Like it was insane. But yeah, the tension before that was
Now, was
nuts.
that the hate that Clayster was talking about?
I believe so. I'm not
He talking
sure.
about when Nate Shot did that and looked at the camera and made sure he did the Clayster. Like, was that what? Because I saw Clayster, all he tweeted was, it's good to see who your real friends are, or something like that. I never thought him and Matt were actual friends. Like,
Yeah. Um, I don't. I don't know what
did
to.
he seem down after that? Like,
I want to say
I
it
don't
had
know what to
something
say.
to
Like,
do with more like fans there. That's
I
what
don't
it
think
seemed like
so.
to me.
No,
No?
no. There's definitely something. There's definitely something between those two. I don't want to turn the sticks into like gossip, but there's definitely something between those two individuals that is not going to be a friendly thing. It's going to be like a rivalry. I don't think they'll butt heads as Aches does with people because neither one of them are like that, in my opinion. But but there's definitely some sort of like it's a noticeable rivalry if you see those two in person. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. So
Yeah,
maybe
and
that's what he was talking about.
do you think that impacted when TK then got 3-0'd again by TK to actually be eliminated? I mean, TK or Envious basically went 0-6 on Championship Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that was painful. But do you
Oh,
think
there's
losing
Hex.
to Optic? Do you think losing to Optic affected him that much?
Is
Who's that
that Hex
Hex?
or is that could be Matt?
No,
Heck,
that's Matt. He always goes under the hazard account.
Hello.
Why is gaming not mod him?
He is modded.
Oh, it's the
It's
Twitch
not
thing.
showing up yet. I can't talk.
Okay.
Is she not showing up yet?
We could have got him on. Too late. So do you think that impacted that match? Hitch?
What
After TK?
impacted that?
Do you think
Oh,
their
I'm sure.
victory by Optic impacted
I'm
their
sure.
match?
And one thing that people don't understand is that in that hard point, the very first hard point between Envy and Optic, in the middle of the map, Clayster got the 11 to 15-second respawn glitch where you die while you're hovering and then you don't spawn in for like 10 seconds. And he was freaking out. Like he was like banging on
Mm-hmm.
the soundproof booth, opened it up, told the cameraman that was there to go get a ref. And then the ref came in there, and Envy just kept playing. The other three, they were just like, just play through it, play through it. We got this because they were winning at the time. And then,
Yep.
later on, Optic came back, and then, of course, they
So,
lost, and then they were heated about that moment. And then, I don't know. It's just
that's where, like what you said, we didn't really get to see that part. And I'm not turning this into drama alert, like you said.
right.
But I saw Nameless like furious. I mean, he was like, it looked like he was gonna punch his screen, like his
Yeah.
monitor, and he's like screaming. He's like, "This is baloney," but he said other words, and he was screaming and yelling at the ref, and he's like, "You did nothing, you did nothing." But if they kept playing,
Yeah,
what is the
exactly.
ref supposed to do? Like Optic may. I mean, this is a LAN tournament. Optic wants to legitimately beat this team. In my guesstimation, if they stopped shooting and just sat there, Optic would end the game, or they would end the game. They would restart it or figure out how to play it again. I don't see Optic saying forfeit. I don't see that happening. And so when you say play through it. I mean, and if I knew that glitch was available, I just wouldn't use hover. But I know that was something that Clayster was using a lot, and it looked pretty effective on some of the hills, like because
Yeah.
you could actually be in the hill while hovering, and it looked like it was working pretty well and got him to spots that in Biolab where you probably wouldn't be able to get without it. And so that's just my opinion on it. But I think that 3-0 hurt them. And then they got 3-0 by TK. I mean, TK,
Well,
though.
after that, in my opinion, after
ahead.
that first hard point, they let it get in their heads because they were just heated. They thought they had been, BS'd out of the first game when in actuality, I don't think they were. I mean, obviously the game has bugs.
Yeah.
We heard tons of stories about people that got the flag return glitch or the uplink ball glitch or the 10-second respawn glitch. Like there's tons of them out there. So obviously the game is a little fluky at times, but as far as I don't think they should have let it get to their head as much as they did, and then they just kind of never got momentum back for the rest of the entire tournament. So
no pun intended.
Jesus.
I like how you had to pause to think about it. You're like,
what pun?
All right, guys, we're going to take a commercial break. We do have a guest coming on. I don't believe it's Sharp because we still haven't heard back from him yet. But it is a pro player. We'll have them come on the show after this commercial break. I think it's going to be 60 seconds, hopefully, maybe 90. And we're going to do questions from Twitter as well when we come back and finish up kind of our recap of the event. We'll see you guys on the other side of 30 seconds. Peace. All right. Welcome back, guys. We're back, and we have Neslo with us, and he's going to answer some of your guys' questions and go through this recap that we're in the middle of for you. But basically, I was explaining to Fatty what Hitch was doing online yesterday. So Hitch was... Oh, you can say hello real quick, Neslo. Sorry.
Just what's good? How's everyone tonight?
All right. So, you know my Twitch, so you can see the chat.
Yep, I'm on it right now.
Okay. So they Hitch was tweeting out pictures of this girl that was like, what did the signs were like? They were just bad signs about optics. She had a sign that had the optic sign and it was crossed out and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she started a Twitter that said like Nate shot blows or something like that.
I'm surprised that Twitter wasn't taken already. Like that's
just
kinda...
so she could get roasted. I mean, it was ridiculous.
I even asked her, I was like, "You're making a Twitter right now?" And she said, "Yeah." And I was like, "You're just going to get roasted." And she was like, "That's why I'm making it. I'm making it so that Avalanche can roast me." Because apparently she was stuck on Avalanche for some reason. And so she was like, "I'm making it just so he can roast me." And I was like,
how old
why?
is this
Like,
girl?
I don't know. She was like, I couldn't tell.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Avalanche is he has like magical powers.
Yeah,
like,
like
the amount of
90% of
love
his
that was created. Yeah, his active followers are
it's ridiculous.
Oh man.
At the stream real quick. Okay, so we were talking about the championship and losers bracket, and what happened. But real quick before we go there, we just did talk about how you guys were. Who eliminated you guys? DT Esports. So of course we know that was frustrating for you, Neslo. Overall, what was your opinion of the event overall? We've seen most of you guys hopefully have seen Neslo's tweet longer that he kind of explained. He apologized to Fear and some of his followers and things like that. But if you want to kind of recap your overall opinion of the event and maybe what's next for you, Neslo.
Oh, my event was awful. My weekend had a pretty bad weekend, not gonna lie about it. The event was ran well. Like a lot of people had complaints about the venue being smaller than most major MLG events. I didn't really mind. Open bracket ran pretty smoothly. Had a decent wait time for some of our matches, but the event itself, it was incredible. MLG always does good things and the production value is always the highest, so I had a good time.
Awesome. And what's next for you? Do you know if you are putting down the sticks or if somebody throws you a sub spot offer? Is that something you would take?
It's a hard thing to think about right now. Part of me wants to take a break, but I know when it comes to this scene and players, breaks is not a very good thing. It's something that people you'll become irrelevant really quick, and that's something that I can't do. I don't want to do. I gotta get my head straight. I got a lot of things to think about. I don't want to be a sub on a team. I want a team to pick me up as a sub and put me as a starter. So if a team wants me for season one, I'm going. Plain and simple, I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
I just lost touch on what I really wanted. I always wanted to win, always wanted to be a star player, be on a good team, and I just stopped wanting to do that. But once I figure that out again, I want to play again, and season one's a huge opportunity, and I'm not gonna throw that out.
Yeah, you always seem to have the one thing that was undeniable about you is you had this drive and desire to win. I think it's what helped the early TK success when you guys kept getting second and third over and over and over. You just had a drive to be the best and to get to the top, and you wanted to partner with people that were going to do that. Was that different in this event? I mean, did you not have the same drive going into it, or were you frustrated about like, what was happening in the community in general and where you landed that you didn't land on, a better team? Or was it just like,
I mean, the FaZe situation was obviously frustrating. That was my original destination before they brought in Pat, and me and Pat just couldn't play together. Our play styles are literally identical, and there was too much criticism going around. And because all three of those players have won championships before, and I haven't, they don't try to disrespect me, but they can't help but talk down to me, and that's something that wasn't healthy for the team.
Yeah.
So FaZe is my original destination, but I was happy with Fear. I was happy with Mo, Assassin, and Dito. I wasn't gonna look back and say, you know what, this is like I'm stuck here. This is my second option. I wish we did play more. At the start, we played a lot, and then towards the event, we just stopped playing. And I hate going into events unprepared, especially when you have to go through open bracket and you have to contend for a league spot. And I just hate going to events unprepared. I feel like we're a little bit unprepared. But I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't also satisfied. It's kind of a mixture of feelings, but it was a pretty disappointing placing. It was my worst placing in my career, so.
Yeah, I saw you tweet that out, and it looked like you guys, I'm looking at the bracket, you 3-0'd Orbit, and then this DT Esports team, I think, surprised everyone. They almost made it into the league. Were you kind of impressed by what they were able to do, like their roster and everything, or what was it that they were doing so well when they played against you guys?
I mean, it was crazy because we were about to make pool play and we got 2-0'd by Orbit, because we just individually, like, people weren't playing individually great at the time, and it's a best of three. Like, you have one bad map,
Yeah, you're
you're
screwed.
you're going home. So we got to it by Orbit, then we went to losers, and we beat them 3-0, and we kind of got that stride and confidence, and we played this TDE team, and I didn't really underestimate them. We really didn't underestimate them because they were beating good teams, like their open bracket, and their search game was just it was ridiculous, and that was the game type we weren't prepared for. It was the game type we didn't really know what we were doing. We lost 3-2. We lost both the searches and an uplink. So they knew how to play search and destroy, and that's two out of the five game types. Other than that, the respawns weren't too difficult,
Yeah.
and they ended up taking a win. We just didn't deserve it. We just weren't playing as a top team.
Okay. All right. So as you guys kind of throw some questions at us for Neslo, Hitch or Fatty, you guys can both kind of watch Twitter. I got
one from Twitter.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, this is from Tig Remo. I don't know if I said that right. He says, if Neslo could pick three teammates, who would they be?
Oh.
If I
Any
could
three
pick
players.
teammates for this game, Advanced Warfare, my three teammates would be Sharp, Crimsix, and Apathy.
Nice.
Ooh, that would be a good squad.
That would be a good squad.
And actually, were you? I mean, I'll admit, I love Sharp. He's been on our show a couple times. He was going to be on again today. I was ridiculously impressed with how he played this weekend. Out the gate when they played Optic, I was kind of like, I had to like pause for a moment, like, what is this like real? What I'm watching? They just played amazing. I mean, I think they kind of shocked everybody by the way they started, the way they played against Optic Gaming. And then they maintained it. Like even though they went 3-1 in their pool, kind of unfairly got kicked down to losers bracket, and finished top 4 in this event, and beat some pretty good teams on their way to doing it. Were you kind of surprised at all by how Sharp did, or did you know that connection was such a factor that when he got on LAN, he was going to go bananas?
I have no idea why everyone thought TK was just average going into this event. They've been making it to semis of almost every online tournament. They've been looking really good online, which is something TK is not known for doing. I know that the game types that were being played, like Hardpoint, they would just pick up faster than most teams due to chemistry. They just understand concepts. And I was surprised by Sharp's individual performance because I think he can admit he did not like playing Ghost. That was not his best Call of Duty whatsoever at all, and he knows that. And he was a top 5 player in kill death at this event. So he seems comfortable playing this game. He seems like he can do anything. This is his game, and you get to see it when he's sitting down and playing. He's just so much more confident.
Yeah.
And individually, I'm impressed.
You hit it on the nose, like the way, like even looking at his face when they were playing, he just was like so focused, and he almost looked like, I'm not surprised by this. Like it was a confidence that if I was another team, I would have been like, okay, we got to play our best because this guy, he's not in any way. It's like a person, like when you see Aches step in the booth. I rarely see a moment where Aches looks like he thinks he's not going to win. Like rarely ever. Even in losers bracket, when they made crazy losers bracket runs, this dude would just be straight confident, like we're gonna win, we're gonna win, we're gonna win. I don't know where he gets it from, but that dude's will to win is of course undeniable. So speaking of FaZe, you talked about him. We're talking about Aches right now. This dude, do you know what happened to his thumb? Like, does anybody know what?
I have no idea what really happened to his thumb. I heard that he punched some glass. That's just a rumor. It's nothing confirmed whatsoever. I mean, it makes sense. He cut his hand.
Yeah.
But I have no idea why. I have no idea what happened, and that's something that no one knows. He hasn't released any information.
Yeah,
which automatically makes it sketchy. But besides that,
I have a feeling alcohol was
legit.
involved.
I mean, the injury was legit.
It was.
None of us can argue with the injury. It was like, I mean, I saw his hand. Wounds. I just so thought it was like a trick or something. When I first started seeing the tweets that morning, I was like, wait a minute. Like,
one of my actual, I got a pretty sick shot of him playing, and he was playing like this, and then his whole thumb right here is just all bandaged up, and then I pan out, and then his hospital band is on his arm while he's playing in the main stage. Pretty sick. Can't wait for that.
Okay, that would make sense. So on to FaZe. So FaZe was 3-0'd by Prophecy. in I don't even remember what round it was. It was the semifinals of the winners bracket. FaZe is 3-0 by Prophecy to start Championship Sunday. They go down to round 6 of losers to face off against Denial. Their road to victory in this was not easy. It was paved with multiple game fives, including having to win 2 best of 5s against Optic in the grand finals. What changed about this team? Like, for them to go from getting 3-0'd by Prophecy, where it looked like, honestly, they were going to finish top 6, top 4, but not win. I mean, I didn't expect that at that moment. And we all knew that STiKS was suffering with his hand. Hitch, Fatty, Neslo, what was it about this team that gave them that drive to where they just clutched up? I mean, and that's what they did. After beating TK, they had a hard road to winning this tournament. They had to win 3 best of 5s, including a game 5 against Prophecy and a game 5 in the grand finals against Optic. So what was it that most contributed to FaZe's victory?
FaZe has 3 people on their team that has something to prove. Censor, because he gets roasted 24/7 about his play style.
And his
he's like twice the Nate shot.
Style.
What? And not about his play.
He gets roasted about not eating cheeseburgers. I mean,
yeah, everything. He just gets roasted by everyone. And so he's got to prove it. And then you have STiKS, who has to prove that he doesn't need TP. He is, he doesn't need a duo. He's dominant. And then you have Slasher, who this was his chance. This was his chance to capitalize on this moment, playing for a huge organization and playing on main stage. So that's what I think it was. I think it was all drive, and then Apathy is just dominant. But
he's like, yeah, he's consistently dominant.
Apathy is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I said this in the STiKS last week or something, but Apathy and Censor staying together. I still don't know why they stayed together, but because I know Apathy was hit up, but them staying together because they weren't originally, and Neslo, you can kind of probably tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe that originally their goal was wasn't it to get 2 of the EG players, which is why they never officially confirmed you on the team, or were they just trying to get Pat?
I mean, what I was told, everything's happened, so I don't think they would care what I say, but I'm pretty sure their team was supposed to be Censor, Apathy, Zuma, and Crimsix. I'm pretty sure that's the roster they wanted.
Oh.
That's what the first roster I was told. But then obviously the EG thing happened. I'm like, all right, they want Crim and Pat, or they want TP and Pat. They want 2 players from EG. They won world championships. But it was definitely around, that comfort zone of players which they're originally looking for until the contract situation.
Who was it that if you can tell me, and just so you know, Apathy's been on here twice, and he's pretty open with us.
That dude.
He just says, he's like, well, we originally wanted to get these 2 players. I'm like, whoa, calm down, buddy.
That dude does not care. He lets it fly.
Yeah.
But so who was it in the FaZe organization that wanted Pat above all the other 5 guys that were available from EG? Like, what was it about STiKS that just made him the most desirable? Because I know other teams were trying to get TP or trying to get Karma or trying to get Crim and Karma or TP. But what was it about, like, FaZe specifically seemed to be going after STiKS? Like, they wanted him.
It was all Doug.
It was all, really? Doug. It was Censor?
Doug loves Pat. He loves his drive. He loves the fact that he's won almost everything. And he learns from him, and he made the right decision. Clearly, they just won a championship, but Doug just really likes Pat, and that's something he wanted to pursue. It was going to be me and Ken, and then we're like, you know what, let's try Pat instead of Ken, and then we weren't working as a team, and then they picked up Slasher. So FaZe pretty much just they were the only team that trialed rosters before.
Yeah, they did. You're right,
and that's why they won.
Dang. So what you're saying basically is that Censor was the factor.
He really was. I think Pat makes Doug a lot better of a player too.
Yeah, I think you might have seen that in Censor's KD. I mean, obviously that went up a little bit. He had a bunch of great plays.
Oh gosh!
But I thought they just all of them as a whole made big plays when they needed to, and especially Slasher. But I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, Neslo, if you were there instead of Slasher, do you think you guys would have won?
Repeat the question.
If you were on FaZe instead of Slasher, would you have come home with the championship as well?
So yeah, that's tough, man, because people are like, I already had a pretty bad weekend, and they're like, you just saw the team that you're supposed to be on win a championship. I'm like, thanks, but
Uh,
I don't think we would have won. I really don't think that team was working. We were arguing, so I wasn't comfortable. Like that's something they haven't lied about. Like I was not comfortable playing with Pat, Doug, and Apathy on that team. I was comfortable with Ken, but when Pat came on the team, just I wasn't playing good. I wasn't playing great. So I really don't. I don't think we would have won a championship. They found, the puzzle piece. They found the piece that they needed,
Yeah.
and they're comfortable with them.
And he wasn't just a puzzle piece; he was the perfect puzzle piece. I mean, Slasher went off this event. Most people said he was their MVP. I mean, he just played amazing. I was, impressed by, I guess, to say the least. So the last match between Optic and FaZe will go down as one of the most memorable grand finals that we've seen. And to start him with a grand final being that entertaining, I think we have a long, great year of growth in Call of Duty esports. My question for you guys before we talk about that match is, if it's not the best you've seen in your time in the community, what would you say is your most memorable grand final, or your most memorable series or match that you've seen?
Go ahead,
Uh,
Neslo.
Complexity Impact, Black Ops 2.
Anaheim.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
I
That
was
was my
gonna
favorite
say that
final.
too.
That was my favorite final ever.
yeah,
I
that
mean,
was,
that was
That
like when the Death
champs,
Star
champs in
blew
Black
up.
Ops 2. Yeah, champs in Black Ops 2 went to game 11.
yeah. Round 11, search and destroy, two best of fives, Envy versus Farico. Yeah, that was good. Hitch, what would you say?
Um, the best one I've ever been to was by far yesterday. But I think the champs was hype, more hype than this one. It was more just because it was like for $1 million and it went down like
Oh,
11
yeah.
maps or whatever. Like it was crazy. I remember watching that freaking out. But I kind of liked yesterday more than Anaheim, to be honest. I think Anaheim was like a close third.
Were you at Black Ops 2
Most time.
Anaheim?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't there. I
Oh,
wasn't there.
okay.
I'm just talking about in general. Just because
Like
there's so many individual rivalries on those two teams. And it was like it was a new game and then it was just so playing for so much. I don't know. Thought
See,
it was awesome.
that's what I liked about the Black Ops 2 Anaheim is just like it wasn't about individual rivalries in the final. It was strictly teams. Like it was just
Yeah,
like it was impact versus complexity. It was
yeah.
Clayster, the new addition, just annihilating impact. That's pretty much what it was. But I don't know, something about that event. It was like the end of the impact era. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I
That
said, it was
was
like when the Death Star blew up in Star Wars. Like the evil had been vanquished. But yeah,
Lord Voldemort was taken down. No, I
yeah.
think that that's so hard because the Anaheim goes down as literally one of the most memorable Call of Duty events ever. Because of just the viewership, complexity, and like you said, versus Impact. And Impact had been on this run of winning, and just they were like the bad guys, and then somehow complexity wins, and then they become the bad guys. It's like, can you win and not be the bad guy? I don't know. And the one thing I'll say about this one, though, and why I think it was really, really good, is it's like when the Miami Heat played the Dallas Mavericks in their first championship, except it would be like the Miami Heat playing the Lakers. That's about how much hype this almost felt like. Like it was so huge because of the rivalries that Hitch is talking about, and you had, because it was Patrick Price that was on the other side of the sticks. If it was anybody else, even if it would have been the same results, it wouldn't have been as amazing. But to have Aches sitting in that other booth, and everybody on Twitter was just going bananas, like, I'm gonna log off Twitter before Aches can tweet. Oh my god, I mean, it was like, and that game of Uplink, game 4, I guess it'd be called game 8, but game 4 of the second series was the most nerve wracking. Like, it was, oh my gosh. And then the S&D as well was just, It was crazy, and it was so close to going to game 11 to round 11. So close, except for Sensor just somehow stays behind this wall, keeps peeking out, and gets 3 kills. I don't know how in the world.
Oh man, the way he was playing it, you just knew he was going to clutch. Like you just knew he just wasn't going to die. Crazy.
I don't know how he didn't die, but he didn't. You're right. I mean, Optic made a smart play by being aggressive, but Doug just made the right move. Just stayed behind the wall and kept peeking out. And he was baiting, you know, and it worked. And he was successful. And then he got the 2-piece, and then it was over. And I was just like, wow, that really happened. That really just happened. And Hex is in the chat. He can probably tell us, but it seemed like, well, he said he loves your beard.
He loves your beard.
Yes.
You guys kind of answer it for me. Hex is going to probably tell me we're all wrong when we answer this question. But was this, how much of a letdown was this for Optic? Like is this seen just basically as not being successful first event? Is he going to retire with all the pressure?
He said call him.
Call him in?
Yeah, he said call him really quick. You're going to have to add him though.
See if you can clutch, goalie. Let's see it, baby.
Goalie,
just let him do Goalie, just let him do his voice. Yeah, you did. You ruined it. You were
I'm
so
sorry.
Good so long. I'll just add him. Don't worry about it.
Right before
we'll just do his voice, Goalie.
He's like, nobody swear. Nobody swear. That's true.
Goalie, we'll just do his voice. Don't worry about changing it. Hex, I don't know which one of these is the real one. I'm going to put the one that I think we used last time. I know you have 2, but I don't.
Fail.
Oh, because it moves around our faces.
You're not
Sorry, stream. I'm thinking you probably don't mind having Hex on here, so. Yes, a big snacks. You are correct. You guys lost 2 round 11s that ended up kind of screwing you over. Did I call the right one? Oh gosh.
Sorry, I don't have the webcam because I'm rebuilding my PC so I can stream again. But I just wanted to get in here because I'm so infuriated at times. Okay.